God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I cannot stand up here and lie to you, telling you that when it comes to losing my father, that I will always be strong. And I refuse to stand up here lying and imply that there will not be days where I will feel so defeated and discouraged that I feel like I can't go on. And I never deny those times that I plan on randomly calling out to my father, telling him, "Dad, I'm just so tired of hurting. I just want this pain to be gone." But I can't tell y'all that in life I've learned when right goes wrong, you got to be strong and know that life goes on. 2 Corinthians 5:7 quotes, "Walk by faith and not by sight," end quote. As I stand here before you today, mind full of confusion, eyes full of tears, and heart full of sorrow, trying to cope with the realization that just yesterday I was laughing and playing with a man who would no longer be on the face of this earth come this time tomorrow. And just like many of you, I've spent several nights trying to understand how such a great man could experience something so shallow. Then one night I heard something speak and say, "Let your heart not be troubled. Believe in God, His word will lead. All you have to do is simply follow." So I began to listen. And I began to pray. And as I began to pray, I heard something say, all you have to do is walk by faith. Because when you walk by faith, you start believing in the unknown. And you know that although God is not physically visible to the face, He will never leave nor forsake you. And He also will never put more on you than you can take. So I began to walk by faith. And in that instance, God revealed to me 4 important things. 1, there will be days where heaven doesn't seem so close. Because see, there are tests that God will purposely allow you to be taken through just to test your faith, to make sure you can handle the blessings on which you have been chose. And at that moment when you feel your back is against the wall and you have reached your lowest low, it's when God will show up, show out, and be there for you the most. 2, the night my father passed, I stood outside the hospital in the rain, comforting my sisters. And as those raindrops hit my face and ran down my cheeks, I knew then that those were my father's tears, and he was just as sad to go as I was to see him leave. And as much as I hated to lose him, as hard as it was for me to see him leave, I knew deep down at that moment my father was headed to go be there for someone who needed him far more than me. 3, the devil roams this world to steal, kill, and destroy. And he will do anything he possibly can to come and steal your joy. And believe me, he's tried to take as much as he could take. But see, I had the strength of Job, so you can have my vision, you can have the material things, you can even take the physicalness of my father's body. But when it comes to my faith, Satan, I would dismiss you every time using my father's favorite phrase, "Boy, stop, help me understand, help me understand, help me understand why you thought for 1 second that this would cause defeat. Help me understand why it did not register to you that not only will my father's legacy go on, but from this point it will only increase. Help me understand why you consider this a loss. Or you really just too blind to see that to be absent from the body means to be present with the Lord, so that in itself is a mission complete." 4, our God never makes mistakes. And although in our mind we might not have felt that it was His time, but that's not our decision to make. Because see, we all have a number. And when that number is called, we too will have to leave. And my heart feels a little more at ease knowing that when I get to the gates of heaven, my Father will be waiting on me. So I'm going to hold my head. And I want you to hold your head and try not to cry. Because just because He is not physically here does not mean He's not in heaven still coaching from on high. So again, I'm going to hold my head. And I want you to hold your head. And if there ever comes a moment where you wish you could just hug him, come hug me instead, and I'll be your shoulder. And I promise to just sit and listen. And we can laugh and we can talk about all the reasons as to why we both really miss him. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stand up here and lie to you, telling you that when it comes to losing my father, that I will always be strong. And I refuse to stand up here lying and imply that there will not be days where I will feel so defeated and discouraged that I feel like I can't go on. And I never deny those times that I plan on randomly calling out to my father, telling him, "Dad, I'm just so tired of hurting. I just want this pain to be gone." But I can't tell y'all that in life I've learned when right goes wrong, you got to be strong and know that life goes on.